Hi everybody, this is Daniel J. from Cybervent website for ventriloquists, and I am here with Mr. Vegas, Terry Fator.
Good to see you again, Daniel.
It's great to be here. And but usually I ask people the simple questions: what got you started in ventriloquism? Who was your influence? But a lot of people in your book, Who's the Dummy Now? You go over a lot of that stuff. So I really want people to go buy the book. So we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
All right. Well,
and I'm writing a sequel now, so
okay.
A lot has happened since that book was written. So.
Yeah. let me ask you a quick question. How hard did you find it to write a book?
It was difficult. There was a lot of time involved, but luckily I travel a lot, and back then I was traveling even more. It was before I started at the Mirage, and so I would write when I got on planes. So I would have a 4.5 to 5 hour flight, and I would pull out my iPad at the time or my computer, and I would sit there and type the whole time.
Right.
And it was great because at the time my wife at that time did not travel with me, so it really kept people from bothering me because I would just be typing. Right. And so now my current wife, my forever wife, I should say.
Yeah.
She travels with me, but she'll know once I'm writing the book, she'll know that once we sit down, I'm going to be typing and working. So I'll probably have it out finished in about a couple months, I'm thinking.
Okay. All right.
It's a lot of fun to write, though.
Yeah.
If you've never written it, if you ever wanted to write, the best way to do it is just write. I just had to sit
out
and start doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Now you just celebrated your 10-year anniversary.
I did.
And it flew by, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. It flew by. When I look back on it, it's like, oh my gosh, that was so fast. And then I look and say, I've lived 3 lifetimes since then. So in another sense, it's been, it feels like so much has happened, and yet it has gone by really fast.
Yeah. And you just signed a new contract, and that's awesome too. And
going until 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just going to keep going, and hopefully, 30 years from now, you're going to,
Yeah, and the key to that is keep it fresh. Make sure that you just keep it fresh. I have rewritten the show. I just rewrote the show for my 10th anniversary in March, and we're coming up on Labor Day, and I'm rewriting the show again. I just try to always keep things fresh and exciting, and therefore people keep coming back over and over and over to see the show in Vegas because they always want to see what I'm going to do next.
Right.
And that's really the key. If you're one of those ventriloquists or one of those entertainers, whether it's ventriloquist or not, if you're the guy that's been doing the same routines you've been doing since 1984, you can't expect to have real success and to have lasting success for sure. Right. You got to keep it fresh. I mean, look at Jeff Dunham. Jeff Dunham releases a new DVD every year. Yeah. And that's really how to do it. If you want to stay successful and be successful, you have got to constantly be pushing yourself to create new and better material. And really the key is force yourself and tell yourself that every time you create something, it's going to be better than your last incarnation, whatever you did. That's how to keep from fizzling out. Right.
And that's almost how you won America's Got Talent. I mean,
that's
pretty much exactly how you won America's Got Talent.
That's exactly how I won America's Got Talent. And what I did was, and my advice, anybody out there, if you're going to go on America's Got Talent, don't save your best material for last. I have had this happen so many times where people, I can think of one person in particular, I'm not going to mention them because they all know who the person is, but they were saving something for last and it cost them the competition. Don't save your best for last. Do your best now because you may not have another shot at it. And that's what you got to realize. So what I would do is, the best thing I had in my arsenal was Etta James, at last. And I knew that was amazing. I knew that it blew people away.
Right.
And I thought, my first inclination was, well, why don't I save this until later? And then I thought, well, what if I get kicked off? I want to make sure America sees this. So I did it, and then when I got through, I said, okay, how am I going to top it? And week after week after week, I had to come up with a way to top what I had done the previous week.
Right.
And that kept me on my toes, and it made me focus and do a better job and come up with more creative material. I really had to stretch those creative muscles, and that's how to stay popular in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good example of that, I got to sit in on the sound check. And after you guys did the sound check, there was 4 of you up there just brainstorming about the show in Vegas, and we got to experience a little bit of that, and it's just really awesome to watch. Yeah,
thank you.
So just to watch the minds, you can almost hear the gears clicking.
And the thing is also, I as successful as I've been, I don't have any yes men. So anyone can suggest anything to me. I can come up with an idea that I think is brilliant, and if 3 of my guys that I'm with says I don't think it's a good idea, I'll drop it. I'm not I'm willing to listen to people. You know, I listen to, of course, my wife. My wife always, you know,
Sure.
you always want to listen. Doesn't mean I'm always going to take her advice, but I will always listen.
Right.
And I will always, and if I really I want to try something, I'll say, I'm going to veto everybody and do it. But you know, you have to keep yourself humble, and you can't think I know everything. Otherwise, everything's going to fall apart. You have to let people. You have to listen. You have to always keep yourself open to listening to criticism and critique.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you just, well, I would say probably about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, you started using chance roll films. Tell me about those.
I went to the ventriloquist convention a few years ago and met Chance. And actually, I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but I got to ride in a van that was taking us over to the ventriloquist museum. And Chance and I got to talking, and he started showing me pictures of his characters. And I said, "Do you have a booth?" And he said, "I do." I went over to his booth, and I looked, and they said, "These are awesome."
Yeah.
So I said, "Give me your card. We're gonna start working." So I called him up, and I had him, I believe the first character he made for me was my Michael Jackson puppet, and it was crazy amazing. So Chance calls me up and he says, "I have an idea for a puppet, are you interested?" And I said, "Well, what's the idea?" And he said, "I want to make a character where we have a devil and an angel appear on the shoulder." And I said, yeah, that sounds amazing. So then I had to get with my team, and we started thinking, who's it going to be? It obviously has to be a celebrity, so we went through maybe possibly Britney Spears, we went through you know, all the different, you know, Miley Cyrus, troubled stars, you know, and that would need a devil and an angel. And then we finally settled on Justin Bieber because, you know, he's accepted Christ today, and then tomorrow he's drunk and beating somebody up. And that's perfect. It's got a devil and an angel that's always telling him what to do, you know.
Yeah.
And so we just thought it was a beautiful thing. And I don't make fun of people. I have fun with people's with people's quirks, let me put it that way.
Sure.
So I feel like Justin could come and see the show and he would laugh and think it was funny. And I know I have a Donald Trump puppet, and my Donald Trump character, Donald Trump, President Trump has seen it, and he's actually told the person that showed it to him that it was funny and he liked it. So that's good.
That's
I like
a good
it.
thing.
I don't want to make anybody, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to make anybody mad.
It's all in
I'm
fun.
not a mean comedian at all.
Right. I understand that. That's great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. You know, just wanted to ask you a few questions to get a chance for everybody, all the ventriloquists out there, to get a little bit more information about you and how everything's been going. And I know you got a lot going on, so we're gonna just you know, thank you for this.
You're welcome.
And it'll be up on Cybervent real soon, and appreciate you giving me the time.
That's awesome. And all the ventriloquists out there, if you ever come to my show, let the other ushers know that you're out there, because I always try to make time. If I'm not sick or something, if it's just not crazy busy, I will do everything I can to bring you backstage and give you a little bit of encouragement and get a picture, because I love meeting people in the event community. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So make sure that you ever come to one of my shows, you let the ushers know that you're there, and they will and we'll do everything we can to get you backstage.
Super. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks a lot.